and how people can really work with you. Your title of your chapter is called How to Brand Your Book to Create a Legacy. And you share in your chapter how a lot of authors, do the writing, get the book ready, and then they're kind of like, now what? Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I think it's important to say that I come from this perspective as an author myself. So that's how I kind of got into this space. I contributed to a multi-author book, and that really gave me this perspective that so many people, the writing part, let's not call it easy, but it's kind of the bit we know that we have to do, right?
It's
And then
straightforward. Yeah.
we
Yeah.
know we have to write the book, obviously, to get it out there. But then when it comes to the marketing part, that can be really overwhelming for so many people, whether you have any experience in that area or not. It's a big part of it. And if you don't market your book, no one can buy it, no one can read it. And so you can't make an impact with your book. And so the marketing side of things is really important.
It really, really is important. And you share about your own experience, how you are a natural organizer and keep things tidy, and how you didn't really anticipate this realization. You kind of had this realization that, oh, not everyone, this doesn't come easy to everyone. And that's when you saw your kind of opening this need in the market. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's been a really beautiful organic process because I started with the marketing graphics and the branding side of things originally. And then the organizational stuff kind of came in through my experience with, being an author in my own books, and then also through working with publishers and authors with their graphics, and realizing that so many people just find that organizational and setting up systems really overwhelming, and that the lack of those things, especially when launching a book, made the whole book launching process so much more stressful.
Yeah.
And so I realized that having a natural affinity for that meant that I could support publishers and authors in this other aspect that seemed to fit so beautifully with the graphics side of things as well. And so I'm a high school teacher as well. That's my original, job. And I think I have this natural desire to be able to teach people and to help people feel confident and find that independence to go on and do things for themselves better, or in a way that maybe didn't first occur to them. And so that system side of things has really come from that part of who I am as well. And I love to be able to feel to give people that confidence to move forward and to really support themselves with some really good systems, along with beautiful graphics.
Absolutely. Yes. And I think especially so many of us just hodgepodge systems or organization together. And when you are dealing with something like a multi-author book, for instance, where there's lots of moving parts, having those systems and streamlines is so, so valuable. And I want to show everyone kind of the infrastructure that you set up for us. And I think anyone who is public, especially for publishers or people who are working in that capacity, it's such so much of a benefit. Absolutely. So tell us about your debut into the publishing world. You contributed to a multi-author book. Tell us a little bit about that.
I did. I contributed to a book about motherhood. It was called I'll say F Motherhood. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to swear, but and it was a book about unconventional mothering. And I have two little ones. I homeschool. I've done motherhood slightly differently to all of the ways that everyone told me I should do it. And so that's how I kind of came to that book.
Yeah.
And through that book, I created graphics for myself to use, which I then shared with my publisher, who's also in Get Published.
Shareholder.
Yes,
Yes.
amazing Bridget, book mama.
Yes.
Yes, so I'd shared those with her and the other authors. And once we'd sort of gone through that process, Bridget said to me, you should be doing this is something you should be doing professionally. This is incredible. And she has really guided me so much through the whole process. And I'm so grateful that we came to be in the same sphere, and for all of her support and guidance.
Mm.
And it's just been amazing because it's really only been sort of 2 years since that book launched and that I came into this space. And the momentum has been incredible. So
Wow,
yeah.
and you've just ran with it. Kay, put on some celebration and hearts for us. Hi, Kay. Thank you for
Hi,
joining.
Kay.
Um, and you've absolutely jumped into that, and I think it's such a testament to what an a multi-author book can really open up for people, especially when you come to it with an open heart and know that you're gonna get what you're intended to get out of the opportunity, you absolutely will. And so I think it's absolutely beautiful. So for anyone who is watching, Meg created all of the promotional materials for us that you see floating around the interweb. She did an incredible job. And I just want to take a minute to really dig into what you put together, because I think it's one of those things that until someone sees it, it's hard to really understand. The level of care you poured into this project was so incredible, so grateful. So I'm just going to share my screen here, and share this beautiful PDF that you put together. So it's really a one-stop shop for our authors. They can log into this, they can access all the resources. Here's a little bit about you, but looks like I'm starting from the back. Sorry. So here's the beginning. How to guide for using the marketing and most out of your graphic and templates, because you share in your chapter also, really having the graphics is great, but if you don't have a strategy for how to use them, you might be a little lost, right?
Yeah. And that's where the branding comes into it, because marketing on its own is great. Yes, you're being seen, your book is being seen, you're getting stuff out there, but the branding side of things is basically what brings it all together. So that includes the strategy, it includes the visuals, it includes the way that you speak about your book and how you build authority around your book. And so that's the part that I get excited about, because it really is about the cohesion of that. And that's what the guide is designed to do.
And
This
you're
one is just for, yeah.
Sorry, you're so incredible at. I was just going to add that. Go
Oh,
ahead.
thank you.
Sorry.
I was just going to say, this one is the template guide. So this is the basic overview, whereas I also do like a done for you package, which has an individualized, more strategy that's personalized for whoever I'm designing the graphics for. This is more of a general guide that people can access so that they know how to use the graphics, and they have, tips and things for whatever level they're coming to marketing their book at, and they can still make the most of the graphics that I've created for them.
Absolutely beautiful. So if you are an author or getting ready to launch a book, or if you're a publisher, connect with Meg, because she has these beautiful graphics, organized and easy to use, customized for you, and creating a strategy behind it too. So, so I just want to kind of go over this. So this is obviously for our Get Published book launch. So can you kind of walk us through what we're going to look through in this?
Yeah, so the PDFs, I've designed those because in my experience, especially with the multi-author books, you're getting such a range of experience in terms of social media and in terms of marketing, in terms of I create the graphics with Canva, so in terms of using Canva, and thanks, Kay. And so the PDF is designed so that, especially for publishers with multi-author books, they can give this to their authors and everyone feels as though they have a starting point, they have a reference, they have a guide on how to use it, and there's not so much back and forth questions and confusion and people feeling overwhelmed. Because I'm all about minimizing the overwhelm.
Great.
And
Streamline it. Yeah.
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 So
And
that's what
Sorry. Sorry.
No, you're right. You go.
It did that so much, and one of the contributors mentioned that she had contributed to anthologies before, but the experience was nothing like this, and I know, this piece was a big contributor to that.
Well, that's awesome to hear. That's
Yeah.
the aim.
Yes, yes. So, okay, so we're gonna go through. So you put together this beautiful PDF, easy, accessible. We distribute it to the co-authors so that they can each have access. It's a one-stop shop. Everyone knew exactly where to go. And inside of this are links to the Facebook cover promos, the pre-launch, the launch squares, post-launch square, and all oh, all story graphics. And
Yeah.
you really break it down, like how to utilize these resources. So people could go in, click on these links, go straight to the graphics in Canva, and they had an opportunity to customize them a little bit if they wanted to. What's your favorite part about creating the graphics?
I just love that someone said to me the other day how, I don't know if it's unique, but they said it's very unique that I have such this whole creative side and all of the beautiful graphics and the visuals, and I love that part. I love the creation part. I love bringing someone's vision to life, and I also love um, that sometimes I give them things that they may not have thought of in their vision, and they go, "Oh my gosh, yes, that's what I didn't know I wanted." And so I
Yeah.
love that part. But then there's also the organization part, and so that's what they were saying to me the other day. They're like, "That's such an interesting mix because you don't often get that more structured kind of system based thinking along with the creative side." And so that's what came through when I started writing my chapter, and I didn't even realize, I think, until I wrote my chapter, how much that all mixes together in what I offer. So I think, yeah, I
Yeah,
love that, the
that's
bringing the
incredible.
vision to life.
It is unique, I think, that you have it's like the right brain and the left brain working together. It's like where they collide. So you have this because a lot of times I think people, in that are kind of doing the graphics and that thing are real creatives, really can, see the vision like you mentioned and bring it to life, but then it meets the super organized and let's streamline it and make it make a lot of sense.
Mhm.
Kind of your strategic marketing organizational mind, which makes for a really dynamic experience. So I think it's incredible. And I love what you shared about the clarity that came through in writing your chapter. I've heard that time and time again from the contributors. The clarity that comes through when you sit down to specifically say, okay, I'm going to write a chapter about what I do and how I do it and why I do it and what makes me unique. It really is an opportunity to understand so deeply what it is and what makes you unique. So I'm so grateful that you got that experience out of it.
Yeah, it's incredible. I
Yeah.
love I love all of the experiences of working with books. And the multi-author books are incredible because you go into it thinking you're doing one thing and you come out with so much more. There's always a transformation. It's always an incredible journey, and I just love that.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so we're going to go through. So here is kind of where the organization comes in, right? So you're talking about the collaboration hub, and you put together all of these resources so that it's super easy. What you can't see here because I can't click on it is when you click on these links, it takes you exactly to where you need to go. So how does it get any better than that organizational wise? You really introduced us to Airtable. Can you share a little bit about Airtable and how you work with your clients? Because I know you do work with publishers, but you probably also work with other entrepreneurs, I'm assuming, to help them set up some systems inside their business.
Yes. So Airtable is, I like to describe it as a spreadsheet on steroids. So it's like Excel, but so much more. It's kind of like Excel meets Monday.com meets Asana. Like it's kind of all in a package, and I'm a little bit in love with it and obsessed with it. And I got into it through finding it as a tool for me, and I developed all these templates and things that worked for me. And then working with publishers in particular, and then some solo authors, I realized the need for a way to be able to organize everything and for it not to be another big task, and that it was duplicatable. So that there's automation involved where there's a lot of little tasks that you can automate within Airtable that you don't have to keep doing manually, which takes away from a lot of the admin time. But it's also something that you can copy and reuse time and again, especially for publishers with, you know, new projects. It's just ready to go. It's something that can house everything. And it also makes it really easy for the authors to kind of see everything, access everything, and you don't have like a million links flying around and everyone's confused and like, where was that? And how do I access that? And you're just like, it's all there in one spot and it's an easy to follow system.
Yeah, incredible. It really streamlines communication and all the assets and just the process in so many ways. So, if you're someone who's like, hey, I have a lot going on, and having someone come in and help me set up some systems, reach out to Meg because I know she would love to help you with that. So I would love to hear on your chapter is really, walks people through the steps on, okay, you wrote your chapter, now what? And here is some really tangible ways that you can start to share about the book and get it out there. What do you hope that the readers take away from your book or your chapter?
I think the main thing is that it's not that hard. If you get a little plan in place, if you do a little bit of preparation to begin with, you really can make a huge impact with your marketing. And so it pays to really think about things. Don't leave it to the last minute. That's one of my big recommendations. Don't go, oh, okay, launch week is next week. I need to get some graphics sorted. Wow. You should be thinking about it at least a month in advance and be starting your promotion, a month to 3 weeks, over that launch time.
Yeah.
So that you have time to build that authority, build that brand recognition for your book, and it's not overwhelming for you because you're just throwing things together at the last minute and not feeling like you're doing your book justice.
I think getting in early on your marketing plan is such wise advice, and don't leave it to the last minute. Make sure that, you're doing all this work to write and publish your book, and it deserves to get into as many hands as possible. And that's just not going to happen unless you have an way of getting it into those readers' hands. So I think it's really wise advice. If you are an aspiring author or somewhere along your authorship journey and want to get the resources, the wisdom, the tips, and the tools, the support offered and get published, mark your calendars. May 8th, Get Published Industry Experts Share Their Secrets is getting ready to debut. And I know you're going to get so much out of this. Pick up a copy, read Meg's chapter and the other 16 contributors. And we're getting super excited. So that's all for us today. Thank you so much for being here, Meg. I did link up your website and ways to connect with you in the comments. So make sure to reach out to Meg if you think that her inspiring creative visuals or her organizational and structures are going to support you in some way. I know she would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.